that did well last game, Benji and Savage, and they tilted. Not a bad zone for them, but they're going to be one of the last teams to rotate too, and they don't have a car, they don't have any sort of rotates, and they have a team right next to them that's going to be holding them out for Surge as well, as Jeff is having a little dive in zone here. Not sure what they're doing here, Shayo.
Might be a class down onto Andalex and Squeeze. They might be down on Surge and looking for a few angles. They seem kind of desperate. Seems like another, predator hunting its prey situation, but Andalex has basically an invisible radar on. He knows exactly what people are thinking. That's just the way he kind of plays the game. The fundamentals always just so strong in knowing what's around him, the awareness. So they find a quick pickup. They're going to keep moving.
Yep, but again, the zone is tough for them. I mentioned this, the mountains, the hills. There's going to be so many teams on this edge, and Andalex is the forced to launch pad, but everyone's eyes is on them, because I think that shield crack came out here. Andalex is going to get sprayed up by everyone, and he's eliminated out of the air. X-Cuse being a very good teammate here, trying to pick him back up, but honestly, I don't think this is a move. I think you need to run away with the Spider-Man, because people are going to be jumping in, and that's exactly what's going to happen. These Stinger SMGs coming in, they're jumping, they're going through, and X-Cuse misses the low launch as well. He's panicking just a little bit. He gets pumped yet again, and his Spider-Man is going to reset. He's able to get past this side now, away from line of sight, but again, this team is being a bit of a nuisance here, Shayo.
He's got a few things to kind of delay a little bit of time, but they got web shooters of their own. Everyone here can beat Peter Parker today. This is going to be absolutely unfortunate for X-Squeeze. A big shot landed down, but it's not going to be enough when you have shotguns and SMGs and everything spraying at you. They leave a launch pad behind for many teams on that south side. Up towards the north, though, Savage and Benji still at a stalemate. They're not all the way in. About 10 more meters away is paradise for them, Boot, but I'm not sure if they're looking at a mirage as they go for this oasis inside the desert. Savage and Benji are just in trouble and barely even in.
Yep. I mean, this is a tough spot to be in. I mean, if you're always on the back foot, you're never going to find opportunities to get Surge either, right? You're going to have this tough spot, and I mean, never mind. They're just going to find a player, just give it into the box, and maybe that's a bit of that luck you mentioned before, Shayo. All of a sudden, there's just a player in Benji's box, a quick little pump to the face, and that's a quick elimination there for Benji.
I'm telling you, they're following some sort of script every time there's a tough situation. Easy random siphon available for Benji and Savage. And I kind of also want to see what some of the other teams' positions are looking like right now as well. I mean, if you look at it, there's just a crescent moon of duos waiting around. Irizumi on the right side, Rayad there too. Let's look at second place and how their journey was going as well. They're on the same side as Benji and Savage. They left slightly later. This is that burned down house, and they get eliminated. So you're talking about what Benji and Savage need to do, Boo. They have so much more space now. The second place team behind them down. You can see the light, the beam shining on them from above. It's just showing them that, hey, you've got the spotlight. You're in first. How far can you go this game?
Yeah, and consistency is the name of the game. I mean, any sort of duo, they can just come back with a very, very high elimination game, right? We saw Floki do this last week, a 13 elimination game, I believe, put him back into the top 8 position just off of one game. So even if you are below that top 20, top 30 place, just one good game here could put you back up. So you definitely don't want to be throwing the chances where you have very good situations here. And Benji and Savage, they do get saved just a little bit here, Shayo.
Yes, they do. But on their left side, looking Irizumi and Leader as well. Two different for a majority of teams in the season as they try to move. They try to pick you apart when you're on the move. So Savage and Benji have to be very careful. They don't have the web shooters. They don't have any aerial movement, but Savage's got the slides. He's got the moves. That was nice. 3 boxes and the time it takes to make one, and now Benji takes the lead. Look at the dynamic switching you have in between. A Savage needs to heal. Benji picks up the building portion of the duo.
And I love that. I love seeing these new mechanics coming out of these players, Always a ton of creativity coming out of there. And that slide is just going to give you that extra inch to box up and be safe. Make your hitbox a little bit smaller so people are going to have a tough time shooting at you. But look at that. Somehow they know that it's Malibu and Mustache, and Malibu and Mustache trades back through. These were their rivals back in the last season as Steamy Stacks, and somehow they sniffed them out. Maybe giving a little bit of revenge back on them, but, they get a little bit back as well as Malibu and Mustache get a big trade. But Texia in the meantime and Castry, double controller duo, 145 below Surge, and I'm not surprised. Maybe they should have gone to those gyro controls, because this is not enough Surge tags.
Yeah, they might want to get a little bit of that aim factor in. We're looking at them right beside another box, but it's going to be a brick build. PKR knows exactly what's going down. They back all the way up. They have so much room. Big Vortexia in, and he gets slapped in the face. Castery denied immediately, too. That's 2 shots, 2 elims, and 2 big messages sent to that duo.
I love that. They're perfect timing shots. They knew when the wall was about to be broken. Boom, the pump to the face, and they just get eliminated. That's also a little bit on them as well. You got to be a little bit careful on the timing. You do not want to leave it to the last minute when Surge is just about to pop. You got to be, you got to set yourself himself up. He cannot do it right before, as Benji here, he sniffs out an opportunity, finds another good pump through, and look who has gotten 50-50 here, Shayo.
Yeah, it's Benji and Savage. They have that 5th zone. It's landed right exactly where they are, and they found another body of heals to be used as well. They keep overreaching for a little bit of damage, for a little bit of position, and keep getting blessed with rewards in terms of heals as well. But the majority of the zone is not in right now. I see a few launch pads and Spider-Man swings going on from the right side, where you can see just the left half of the word Chonker on the mini-map. A lot of people are going to be swinging and flying in. Vino, of course, is in one of the best spots of the map. He's going to keep pushing that position forward. That's exactly what you want to be doing in this situation. 2 launch pads as well. You talk about potential right now for Vino and Joe. They're both alive, Boop. It looks better than game 1, and I feel like they're about to pop off in this one.
I mean, this is just Covert Canyon loot, right? 2 launch pad, those 6 chili splashes. They have 3 big pots, 6 minis as well. It is a lot. And, you know, they already have 3 eliminations as well. So what happened last game of the surge issues and obviously Veno going down early on is now going to be a little bit saved. And looks like if Veno is trying to take a peek at high ground here, and not a single team has height. And I don't think it's the right play to go for yet, because they do have those 2 launch pads. You don't want to be using those materials to go up and waste them, because you're going to be launch padding anyways. It's not going to give you too much. Those those splashes, sorry, are going to be good enough to play mid ground and then launch pad afterwards. And zone pulls bottom right towards Chonka's side. So luckily for the majority of this lobby, it pulls back towards that congested side. So a lot of these guys are going to have a pretty easy access through. And knowing Veno and Joe, you know, he was looking at high ground. I expect him to fully land at high ground on the front side of zone. And actually, if you take a look, you'll be seeing this in this first moving here. Everyone on that north side, they're going to be launching first. They're going to be landing. Veno and Joe, they're going to be the last team to land. And that's when they're going to have the opportunity, because they're able to extend that launch pad as far as possible. And then they save themselves so many materials, because everyone's already on the floor, right? Everyone's already landed. So you have 0 risk of ever getting late landed on, because you're the last team to launch pad, Shayo.
Absolutely. It's also a barren desert, a wasteland. There's not going to be too many mountains or anything around the city of Chonker Speedway to land upon. Everything here is going to be player built. So you're absolutely correct, leaving his latest you can latch upon. Sunny Chappiks have to leave a little bit earlier because we're towards that backside. Base up, go for a few shots. They have another launch pad to leave this position as well, but they're just trying to farm as much damage as possible. Now you hear the gliders in the sky. They're popping left and right. 200 damage above for Seti and Chappiks. They're looking for a little bit of freedom towards the clouds. They find it. You can see the overview right now. Lots of mid-ground positions. One definitive team on height. Seti's looking for a little bit of a higher elevated base as well. As you look towards the other side on low ground, it's Savage and Benji. They're going to be towards the backside of the zone now, still finding trouble getting in, but the spicy splash dropped down towards the feet, making things hot. Feisty, fast, and speedy, good for both teammates, but they're slightly separated too. It's Kuriachi that Benji takes down as he moves across the cars and the dirt on the ground. They're looking pretty good so far, Boot, but they have a long ways to go.
I mean, he had almost 0 builds then. All of a sudden, Kuriachi just into the box, back up to 80 as you get this nice little panning shot. Benji is still stuck in the backside of zone. Yet again, a result of a little bit of late rotations as he has to progress through all of these old builds. He's going to be very careful. Savage is going to try to elevate themselves away from this spot. As we have a high gun battle, you have Pink and Anas trying to go up on top of there. And these guys, you know, they don't have the most aggressive playstyle, but when it comes to those late moving zones and zone transitions, they love to go on top of it. And they do have Spider-Mans. They do have the momentum to go back up, and they have it for free now, going to 8th moving zone pretty damn soon. And I like the easy spot for them.
Absolutely. Pink actually uses the web shooters to go forward, negate the fall damage, and then build all the way back up, reconnecting the high ground, stopping the weakness of these builds. It's absolutely genius. Past that, Trulex Chico looking for a little bit of revenge on any aggressivity happening towards the top side of this map. They're going to be looking to maybe take over height. Vino and Joe all the way down low. Don't have any launch pads left anymore. Savage actually going down in the feed, but trading Rotary, so I'm not sure where first place is, if they're still alive, but they're having a little bit of trouble in Paradise. Joe and Vino, though, they're denying everyone on the slow ground towards the forward side. They're going, just landing shots left and right. Floki, Hook on boxes right beside each other on the backside as well. A little bit of calm for every single team as the zone moves again, but Floki denied on low. It's tough to heal. Hookah wins that one. And then Pink up top with an Us are still looking good to rain on high ground.
Yeah, now it is time for the big impact packs for Veno and Joe. 4 eliminations already. With the zone pullback, though, it's going to be a little bit tough because you see them on this logo, but you're going to get smothered just a little bit. They do find the toes of some players. They find another one.
This is crazy.
Good tags coming through. They do have those splashes, to tank zone just a little bit, and he does go for it. But unfortunately, I think that's only going to be Cypher materials. Yes, it is, because those players will completely scuff them backside of zone. They do have those splashes to go back up, though. And, they're making use of the inventory very well here, Shayo, and they still have 10 more seconds in the zone transitions.
They needed the mats. It might just be a little bit, but it gets them a little bit of more space to survive. And Vino shoots another shot again, lands a big one. Not going to get the elimination. Mappy on the backside now. He's also out of mats. They're going towards almost uneditable builds. They have to break it through. Double swinging with a pickaxe is going to be looking good. A little bit of ammo picked up from the backside. Mappy going down. PKR also denied. Pink is still raining absolutely bullet after bullet from the high ground. And Nas is holding on to it still. They haven't been challenged. And now we're down to 5 teams. Pink and Nas, absolute control of the lobby right now. No one can even breathe, but the map gives people the chance to fight each other on low. It's going to be that Speedway warehouse that everyone has a chance to just kind of wrap around, and armored walls pulled up by Vino and Joe to give them a little bit of a situation on the right side. They have a path. They're moving in. Bedmiss popped. This is so constrictive. They have no space to move, and it's an entire diner they're going to be rocking with on the right side. A person right in front of them, it's default that gets bopped inside his own hometown. Vino now looking for the siphon. Does he get it? Yes, another player on his front side. He denies it too. Somehow Vino and Joe are alive. The final 2v2. Can they make this happen? It's amongst tyrants all the way on high ground who've had no interruption so far. A big shot from Vino and the spray. 30 HP, and he's still finding a way to have a conversation, a voice inside this battle, but the spray comes down. There's no builds to hide behind. You can have the best aim in the world, but it's not going to stop Pink and Anas from getting that win.
That was a valiant effort done, Logan, by Veno and Joe. There was chaos down there. 4 players just running around with no materials with their heads cut off. And Veno and Joe, they come out on top. Very well played game there from Dan. And Pink and Anas, very good fundamentals. Again, taking height on that zone transition. A bit of a lucky zone pullback there for them, considering the material count. You see them finishing this game on 0 materials. And that's a good victory royale there for Pink and Anas. And, these guys are warriors in these finals lobbies. I love it.
Absolutely. It feels like, though, even for me, after watching that game, me and you might have to go outside. I can barely breathe. I thought I was getting sprayed by Pink and Anas from high ground. Zeke, Levin, and Reese, are you feeling the heat? That was insane.
Well, shy wager for some of us who can't handle the heat. We got to get out of the kitchen, but nope, I'm here. I'm still hanging out. I am dying, but it is okay. I will hold on until my very last breath. My goodness. Guys, this felt like a semifinals round, but like a light version of that. So many of these different duos just executing exactly to perfection. Now, there was a few flubs, I will say, along the way, Reese and Levin, but overall, I'm very pleased to see, the seriousness from Qualifier 1 to Qualifier 2. You can tell duos here are like, no, I want that top 8. I don't want to go to semifinals. I just want that seat on the bus.
Yeah, I love the way you went, there were some flubs recently, where the flubs, by the way. Watch your tone, mate. Watch your tone. Look, I'll be real. This is why we talked in the first game about how let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Those are 2 teams in the final zone where they didn't have the best first games by any means, but they are 2 teams where the expectations for them were high. Pink and Anas, one of the best final lobby teams in the region. The way they play high, very, very good. They have a great understanding. Execution can be off at times, don't get me wrong, but they got the right things done in that game, and hopefully now moving forward, they probably won't have that many teams contesting them hop on high.
Fingers crossed, let's be real. But you never know. You got guys like Queasy who aren't here, who's just height. Yeah. That's it. That's why when I think of Queasy, I think of height. Yeah, that's it. But for Pink and Anas, they are game winners, like you mentioned. Out of the 3 cash cups they made the second round of, they won 2 games in each of them. So these guys are capable of winning matches. I'm slightly a bit more concerned about the games that they don't manage to, right? 3 good games is roughly what I saw from Qualifier 1 to get you into that kind of top 8, obviously with a couple other points, another one. That with 7 eliminations is absolutely fantastic, and it's already a ticket there.
I'm still seeing these duos, man. They're struggling with Storm Surge. I mean, you look back to Benji and Mr. Savage, right, who then get gifted the Storm Surge, the duo just falling into their laps and just being eliminated. Loot transfer complete. But as we take a look at our overall standings, they're still holding down that #1 spot. Now, there was a little bit more of a gap coming into this game, but for right now, we're seeing these other duos, right? They're meeting them, right? They're looking to answer back and say, look, that's fine if you want a spot, but you better be aware we're going to join you up there.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things where I think we all know that their early game fundamentals are there. End game, yeah, they got stuff to work on, but mid game as well can be a bit dodgy. The reverse caster curse from Boot coming through on that one was pretty funny as well. I think the big thing for them now is probably hoping they can get a bit of zone. Like, let's not deny, right? Of course, teams will prepare, teams will have great fundamentals, this and that. But sometimes you need a bit of zone luck to go your way, and so they probably won't want many more south zones if we're just being real. But if they do, hopefully they can use that first game as sort of a learning moment on how to handle it.
Yeah, I think one of the things you mentioned was interesting. Benji manages to get caster curse RNG. I mean, like, how has that happened? Positive caster curse RNG. That's fantastic. Well, and a good team, obviously, we hadn't really picked on too much, was Vino and Joe there. The absolute pop off at the end, taking them up to second place in that match. We didn't see them in the top 10 there in the leaderboard. They're roughly in that kind of 11th to 20th place right now. And that's just because of that bad first game. If they can keep this up off spawn, like, this is going to be super strong for them.
Yeah, the way they maneuvered, you know, in this end game was really impressive. We talk about the chemistry, the synergy. This season, the things you can do with your teammate by your side are just incredible. You can see here the edits, both of them ready to fight for each other. I think when we talk about confidence, we talked about it at the top of the show. These guys are more confident than a lot of their opponents, and that really shows off here. Of course, they did just sort of get caught out at the end, Vino thinking he was safe from above, and so he went for the hill or whatever, and it just sort of didn't work out. But for the most part, man, I would not be worried about their first game being a bad one. This is one of the best teams in the lobby, and they've shown that over the qualifiers so far.
I mean, confidence absolutely sums it up. We saw in the previous round, we mentioned they got 4 games in a row where they got double-digit eliminations. The third one on that was particularly interesting to me because they went down in 30th with 20 elims. So like, or sorry, 16 elims. So there's only like 4 people in that game who weren't eliminated by them at that point. They were absolutely fragging out, and they've carried that confidence here into round 3 where they've obviously managed to pick that up in that second place there.
So good, man. And there's just think we have another 4 games out ahead of us. But you heard the buzz, which means we're getting ready for game number 3 of Qualifier 2. So for now, we're going back in with Shy Wager and Boot.
Game number 3 is the game of opportunity. It is now your chance. You've had 2 games to make mistakes, and now it's the third one. It is due. It is the time to do it all, Shayo. Who do you expect to come out on top this time?
For me, I mean, slight bias here and there. I'm liking this Benji Savage situation we got going on. If Pink's on height, they're on low ground. That'd be insane. I want to see Mustache Malibuka keep popping off. I want to see Lecce and Swilliam actually get their game started as well. But before that happens, Floki and Clement, this has to be a chance for them at redemption. Another Chonker Speedway breakdown and 4 different teams.
Yep, good landing here for Floki, and it looks like he jumps into the trash there for some reason. The Ranger AK versus the Stinger is not good enough. I mean, it was like fighting with no arms, basically. He had no chance in that situation, and that was an easy elimination there for Swilliam. And I don't know where Floki's teammate's gone. He seems to have disappeared off the map here.
I think Clement definitely having a little bit of issues on that drop, but it's all good. We'll get Lecce and Swilliam a little bit of the beef up, a little bit of the jump up as they get their fights and early games started. They still have a long ways to go. Teach up some art skill as well. This is the team I wanted to focus on for so long because I've been watching this team specifically in Cash Cups and whatnot. They've been some of the most consistent overall. When it comes to early game fighting, this is what they have the lockdown with. Look at art skill right here. 1v2 and still is able to deal a little bit of damage. T-Chips is there though. Is this just Harpoon? Okay, so he got to pick up the MK7.
He has the right hand peak though.
I'm trying to look at this one. I don't think his opponent knows he has an AR, right? But I don't even think he used it once.
No.
Team's kind of crazy. That team, that duo is just so adaptive, and they've kind of been under the radar entirely, right? Might not be household names completely, but they've put a little bit of a pedestal, a footprint, even if I could say, into EU this season so far. So I'm hyped to see them in this qual, hopefully making that top 8.
I mean, this is a season of opportunity, right? We've gone from, you know, an old chapter, an old map, to a completely new meta and a completely new map, right? And we're going to see some fresh faces. I mean, these guys aren't super unknown, right? We've seen them before, but, you know, I love to see, you know, some of the old guard, you know, being new names coming through as we move over towards Covert Canyon. Looks like Joe and Venno this time are contested. They do have height here, but they gotta be careful because there's a player lurking. But Venno's awareness is just ridiculous. He gets a nice little shot through. Goes back to Bapena now from behind. He's pinched, but you gotta be a little bit careful here because Joe's down to low HP here.
Vino still wrapping a few shots. You were saying that Vino and Joe are contested. I feel like it's Pena being contested right now. I feel like they're the ones who they might not even drop here, but they're getting absolutely beat down. Pain outside this wall. He has the control as well on all pieces around him. Still has a little bit of trouble eliminating Vino completely. It took a little bit of time, which might let Joe get an angle here. Oh no. First shot predicted miss. The next one, 72, landed. That bullet finding its mark, and it's trouble now though. 1v1 and a little bit of that separation. No team really profits from this one.
Yeah, and Joe, you got to do me justice here. I was hyping him up the game before, you know, one of the best fighters, one of the best creative players in the game, and now he's stuck in a 1v1 situation for his tournament life here. But Anderson Pink, they're here, and this is what I mean. Anderson Pink, they land on the mountain nearby, and Joe unfortunately goes down. And Anderson Pink, they're here to reap the rewards. I don't think the vault's been opened either yet, so Anderson Pink already have 10 chug splashes, and they're about to get a lot more this game.
They're still rolling in.
Oh my god.
Is this their usual route as well when it comes to Covert Cavern, right? Are they the ones actually chomping down on Vito and Joe? Looks like there might be slight differences in the way they're rolling in, but they're reaping all the rewards of the most powerful spot on the map.
Yeah, they don't usually jump into Covert Canyon. You know, they sort of stay on top. Usually the fights in Covert Canyon, they take a long time. You know, one of the teams are going to be getting the vault card and then trying to get that vault. The other team's going to be, you know, nearby. A lot of the time you split it up multiple directions. But Pink and Anas, you know, if there's an opportunity there, they're going to take it. You know, these guys, they know the spot in and out. They've done it before, and they have the entirety of Covert Cavern. You'd think they've already looted the vault with the loot that they have, but they're going to be getting even more this game, and they already have the search set up as well. This is going to be a spicy one for Pink and Anas. Shayo.
Absolutely. They basically brought like their own lunch to the restaurant. Benji and Savage though, right? You're talking about being wealthy for the moment right now. They're the ones kind of in the driver's seat completely. 89 points rolling in. The team behind them, 78 in the form of T-Chips and Art Skill rolling through. I feel like the one good thing about Benji and Savage right now is every game that they end up winning and winning more, the second place team behind them is the one that has a little bit of that curse. They get pushed back a little bit, and no one's kind of able to catch up with them and keep it close enough. 10 points, I mean, in this format, it seems close right now, but that gap can really widen over time.
Yeah, and it's also the benefit of having a pretty much set spawn plan, right? They know that there's no one else in Tilt. It's only them and Kinzo and Deceptos, I believe. So there's nothing really that can go wrong for them. Unless they fight Kinzo and Deceptos all of a sudden, there's no reason for a team to sort of go into Tilted unless they're planning on doing some, you know, some different things there. So they'll be able to be consistent, and, you know, they have no worries there, Shayo.
Absolutely. And Boop, you called Game 3 the game of opportunity. It looks like Kiko and Mashi so far haven't had theirs rein in so far. I mean, these guys are good fighters. Kiko's one of the most insane players when it comes to box-to-box, pound-for-pound weight, you know, in these side close-range box fights and whatnot. What do they need to do to get back inside this competition?
I mean, they're doing what they need to do, right? They're gonna try to play aggressively, trying to get those early eliminations of spawn now. You know, they have teams that are nearby. I believe they were contested last game, but this game, is this the same team? It's very hard to tell, actually. It seems like it is, yeah, it is the same team from Jones's before, so this is not actually a push. This is them chasing them out of the spot. This is about alphaing Joneses here, Shayo. They do not want this team landing next to them yet again.
Absolutely not, but that fight is dwindling on for a little bit, so we'll tune in with it in just a second. Seti and Chapix, I mean, we talk about Storm Surge this, you know, going for damage that. It's still kind of early on inside the game. You'll see people still fighting for their spot right now. It's pretty basic Fortnite so far till teams start to disengage, even at Sleepy Sound. Usually there's a fast disengagement there. That's gonna take a while to come through. And yeah, the Joneses, I mean, it's lasting so long and it's so loud that I see a third team on the minimap now kind of attracted towards this fight. And if you introduce a third party to this one, it's gonna be absolutely chaotic.
Yeah, and it's sort of how you decide to play, right? There's two main parts of Joneses you can land on. You can land either on the north side or the south side. A lot of the time, they have one team that lands on that north side. They play a bit passive. They try to sneak up through the tree lines. But it seems like this time, you know, both these teams landing on different sides of Joneses. One of them trying to disengage with those Spider-Man gauntlets. And that's what happens. And yeah, another team now comes through yet again. And this is the tale we've seen of this whole final, basically. You know, a little bit too much over-aggression. You know, you can play a little bit emotional. That's fine. But you got to think about your own gameplay and your own finals in the end. You know, you do not want to be throwing your finals just playing a little bit too emotional, trying to chase the team out of it because you want to alpha them. But at this point, I think it's already too little too late. They're going to have to commit to this fight because the material count and the shield count here is not looking too hot.
Not at all. I'm watching some funniness from Mashi. He's just rolling in and just slowly crouch walking, going for an SMG spray.
Ooh, and
just absolutely moving through boxes. And yeah, now he's even disrespecting the opposition. I like it. I like the emotion that comes in right now. And at Joneses, you'll see that third party team completely disengage. I think they also, maybe they were watching and seeing exactly how this fight was breaking down. It was a little bit too, you know, Jenga tower falling over gif for them. They just kind of left as fast as possible. I don't blame them at all.
Yep, and SC here back through the spawn fights near that orchard spot. Joe, I mean, he got eliminated by Anas and Pink. You know, that third party coming in, unfortunately for him. And that's their momentum gone in game number 3. Anas and Pink, I would love to see that loot at some point, because right now you think they got the vault, but so far they still have it. Pena managing to run out just a little bit, and also gets caught there with Anas and Pink in the box, and that's not what you want to have there from them as we go back towards Chonker's side, I believe. And there's still a lot of aggression going on here. Both teams still trying to fight it out, but Alex and X3 here trying to, you know, loot up them.
For a lot of teams, I would not see a big name on it at all. People are usually outside of the name POIs fighting in some weird mid-game skerfuffles, right? But that's not happening right now. It seems that people are not getting out of their off-spawn fights fast enough.
Yeah, and you take a look at the player count as well. 74 people left alive. You know, this is sort of, like I mentioned, this is the it's a time to do things, right? So you have to make a difference. So people are trying out different things. They're trying to third party different spots. They're trying to get more eliminations early on, because, you know, it must be very frustrating to be eliminated by Storm Surge every single game. So these guys, you know, they're making the decision, hey, we're just going to jump in and we're going to get a quick elimination on spawn so we don't have to worry about it later on. But this is yet again another South Zone. And looking at Pink and Anis's loadout there, you know, again, very, very good. But another Storm fight coming through here with Stompy and Jew coming from that Bugle side, I believe. And then all the way into Sanctuary now, running to another team here, Shia.
It'll be tough for Stompy and company because, you know, we just keep seeing this pattern. A lot of the times, it's an extreme as to where the zone is pulling. They're going straight all the way down south. Matt's resources going to be expended towards absolutely thin right now. Even Pig inside the Storm, he's having a little bit of trouble getting all the way in. I like the fact, though, that you pointed out aggression is going to be so much more so different inside Game 3. Limited player count overall. People kind of, you know, they might not even expect certain spots to be taken, or, you know, the regular thing you might be expecting to happen inside the game might not be there. It's going to be a very different landscape for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and this is probably the worst zone for Stumpy and Jew there to sort of storm fight in this position, right? Because it is so far away from them, and there's not too many points for you to reform your metal. So you need to be careful here. And looking at the map there, bottom right, you look at how many teams there are on that rotation. So much congestion right into Chonkers. All of these guys trying to reform the metal. And if you're late on this rotate, it's going to be tough. I don't think this zone's going to pull all the way towards the water side, because it doesn't tend to do that. But you never know. So it could be lucky. And there you go. Storm Surge is going to pop up for the first time. 4 players need to be eliminated until that is gone. But 415 above Surge here for Iris, Yumi, and Older, our 3rd place team. So they're in a pretty good spot so far.
They are. When you talk about, you know, where the zone can't go to the water, man, I'm telling you, it has like an affinity for it. I don't know why, but it happens. And it seems that wherever Benji and Savage go, flames follow. Another house that's being completely set apart on fire.
I think it's the same one, Shayo. I think this is Butterborn. For some reason, they have a vengeance against this Butterborn. But yet again, you know, take a look at the Storm Surge. I mean, this is almost the exact same zone, right? So again, Benji and Savage not really learning from the mistakes of last game. 37 below Surge here, and there's not going to be a team to jump into the box this time to help them out. As Benji and Savage here trying to trade some Surge, they do have a lot of minis. And for those of you that don't know, there is a pretty good strategy that a lot of these duos do. They basically, actually, never mind, because Savage is going to pop his big pot. Not really sure why he's doing that. Oh. Okay, there we go. So what a lot of teams tend to do is they try to stay on 150 HP, and they try to use those minis over those big pots, right? Because big pots, they're not expendable. You only have 2 or 3 of them in total. Minis, you have 6 in total in your inventory, right? So you have a lot of your HP. You're basically trading your HP for Surge in this situation. But Savage not doing that. I guess he feels a little bit scared, maybe, for another team trying to push them. And I feel like this is deja vu. This game is, you know, the same zone. Benji and Savage below Surge yet again. Vortexia and Cassia also below Surge. What am I seeing here, Shayo?
I mean, if that is the case, then Vortexia and Castry have about 2 minutes to live until they get popped. Feels like Vortexia and Castry, they've learned from their past mistakes, have one of the best spots right now to bully an isolated team, and unfortunately it is Benji and Savage on the other side. 11 points for them, 89 for Benji. Savage are in 1st place and want to keep it going.
Yep, and this is again that little bit of psychology, right? 74 people left alive. Even if you're, only 50 above Surge, you're gonna think surely it's not gonna be us that's gonna be taken out here. And you never know, if one team gets taken out here, Benji and Savage, they could go below Surge. If the other team that's below Surge, the way that it works is all about thresholds, right? So you gotta be careful because one team that gets one extra tag, it could be you being below next. And with Benji only being on 95 effective HP, this is such a scary position to be here.
Absolutely, it's that domino effect completely, right? For all the teams. One team gets further up, everyone else comes toppling down. So you want to make sure you're upkeeping with that flip. And right now, Yaizen, I mean, he's in trouble.
I mean, look at this. Okay, I gotta be careful here because I'm new to this casting thing, Shao, so I didn't realize I had such an effect on how zones pull.
I'm telling you,
and
man.
This zone has pulled straight towards the water of Chonka side. So, worst case scenario for a lot of these teams. This is, I mean, it's gonna be a painful zone for these players, but it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. I'll be honest.
Absolutely is. Unfortunately, too, this is one thing I've noticed over casting a little bit and watching these zones move. When you're down on Surge and the zone kind of moves even more so where all teams are, it becomes a statue situation. You're not able to watch anyone else kind of move out of their boxes. You're in so much more trouble than any other situation if you're bad on Surge. You just saw it with Kaizen right there. There's nowhere to go. One team ends up hearing your shield get cracked, roll in, pops out. You do not want to be low on Surge when it's kind of a statue type zone. You want, when things kind of get, constricted, you see it coming, to be proactive, get on your fight fast. I think we saw it from the first game. I forget the duo that did it, but it was done to one of the teams that were a little bit higher on elevation. They just straight up pushed in. It might have been Pan that we saw get right inside the box,
I believe
beam up. Yeah. You want to be able to be proactive and not wait for that zone to close. Right now, it's all in for a lot of teams. Jox, Skyzoo, have to push inside, wait for this fight because they need the damage. They're in that statue situation. No other team is going to allow them to deal damage to them at all. They're just going to be hiding, turtled up inside their boxes. And now it's going to be unfortunate completely. Another situation where Surge is the demise of Jox and Skyzoo.
And I think these guys got their GPS settings installed incorrectly because they are on the wrong side of Storm here. There's so many players on this northern side. And even Benji and Savage a little bit late to this rotate. Look how many players there are on this edge. This can be a tough one. They're going to have to use a lot of material count. But, Savage with that 200 IQ, going to be very smart going along this ridge line, cutting off line of sight, being unpredictable. Maybe he had a little bit of mind games there too. He showed himself to the left, went right to the right side. And he's a bit of a magician act here from Savage. Trying to confuse an opponent. Unfortunately, though, going to get sprayed from below here. Needs to be a little bit careful. And now is the time for them to just be careful, just to wait. It is mellow time. You do not want to be editing when there's so many players around you. You want to wait for these metal walls to fully build out before you make any sort of moves. And I don't want to call the zone, but it is going to actually pull towards the right side. So away from the water, thankfully for them. And we are going to be saved here from another water zone here, Shayo.
Question is, are there any pads for Savage and Benji to maybe bounce on and have an easier way inside zone? I see that Anas has one inside his inventory. If that's the case, and once again, we're in the desert, we saw who the Pharaohs were last game, right? Anas and Pink, they stayed up top. They let that family lineage kind of rock from zone to zone to zone to zone. No one could really dethrone them. And they're looking to do it again. An armored wall available for Anas as well. So if anyone tries to go for that chop down, that spray all the way upwards, he has that extra layer of protection and another beam inside the box. So not only looking for height right now, Boop, they're aware of every single edit going on around them.
Yeah, so what they're basically doing in this position is trying to hold as many people away from them on this high ground, right? Because if you shoot at players that are trying to rotate near you, they're not going to box it below. They're going to try to rotate away from you in this position. So what that's basically going to do, it's going to set you up to have less of a chance of someone sneaking up towards high ground if you do pull half and half here. And I want to talk about the inventory just a little bit. They had 12 Church Passion. I believe they have 6 more in the inventory of Anas there. So what what these guys love to do sometimes, they like to, sneak up below high ground and try to take it away that time. So maybe if I get a few fortunate zone pulls, you might see them make a storm play with those chug splashes because they're very variable. They can heal you up when you're in trouble, but they also are there for those big IQ plays on high ground.
Absolutely. Right now, you might have to toss IQ straight into the bin. Savage and Benji have to just use their feet. Stop thinking, start moving. Spice is also in effect, so they move at double the speed. Question is, though, if you do end up going the wrong way, that's double the mistake that happens as well. You're talking about the right, left, the elasticity, the bounce back of this team. They're really making the move, showing themselves off to the right, sticking to the left. I like that call-out, Boop, but now they're stuck between walls. They can't really edit through, and it's metal after the fact as well. The peppers are not going to make your pickaxes swing faster. You have to just keep going, and they're getting focused still.
And that's the least of their issues here. 250 below Surge. I don't know where they're going to jump in on. I mean, there's going to be a team nearby, but by the time they're actually into zone, they're going to lose all of their material count. They barely have any hard mats, 160 metal.
Oh,
There's
no.
a team behind this wall. They don't know. Maybe Savage does know. Oh, and he gets taken out there by a team hiding. He did redirect the Savage. Where but Benji in this 2v1 now?
What?
Still alive somehow. 9 builds, 7 builds now. He needs to be careful, but I mean, it was all done. It was a valiant effort for Benji, but he's still alive actually. Okay, he's sneaking up. He's being covert, and this player is on low HP. He does get the wall behind him. I don't think this player realizes. Sneaks back through. And does he know it? But Surge, he does know he's there. And Surge is going to take him out. 24 HP and he cannot heal up anymore. Surge is going to be the one who takes up Benji and finally somehow survived the absolute anarchy there of multiple players in this box. But there's one thing that is true, and Storm Surge eliminates all.
Absolutely. You can't build past it. You can't hide away from it. And he was out of mats too. Unfortunate. Art skill, that POV we just dipped towards. That's going to be second place, looking to take that gold beam and add it towards their inventory to have that luxury. There is no first place team alive right now who can take that title.
Yeah, and if you look at the half-nap zone here, zone actually does pull, I believe, on top of Pink and Ana. So all of that setup they did prior to set up the high gun is probably now going to be good for them. I'm not sure what layer they're on. I think they're close by, but like I said, you do not need to go crazy on high gun in this half-nap, Shayo.
Absolutely not. 68 points right now. They basically want to clasp all the way up towards 90. If they get 100 in this game, that'll be absolute huge. But that means they have to survive the entire time. If we could just stay on this POV, I want to see exactly how they break it down. They will be going for right here. They have 2 different pads as well. Can they hold on to being the finessers of this zone entirely? 23 till we see where exactly moves, but I'm liking the fact that they're staying low-key right now.
Yeah, and don't expect them to go for high gun initially, right? They're not going to be going to high gun in first moving. If they do that, I'll sound very stupid, but I don't think they should do that, right? They both have multiple launch pads in their inventory.
Why should they not?
So basically, the reason why you don't want to do it is because you want to use those launch pads effectively, right? If you have 3 launch pads in your inventory, you're going for high gun into first moving, you're basically using materials that you would have saved with those launch pads. Exactly. And with zone putting far away from them, yet again, they're going to have more time to launch pad, and that's going to be good for them here, Shayo.
Absolutely. Resuming very same position. Might not have multiple launch pads, but they have 80 points so far. They might not be controlling high ground completely like Pink and Anas, but they've been consistent over their last 2 games. Now in the 3rd game, they have a spot to even steal that lead from Benji and Savage, and it's about 12 points ahead of Pink and Anas from what we saw before. Irizumi even pops that spicy pepper, a little bit of a speedier glide. We'll see exactly how this looks down. They've checked up top, and what a way to pad past all those builds on a single floor, blocking him through there. High and mighty inside the sky. They go straight for that forward position. We see so many teams in good spots all the way towards that final zone make this move first. And Irizumi and leader, they're not all the way towards the low ground. They have no people next to them either. This is such a good spot.
Yeah, they're in a very good spot. They do have those peppers popped as well. And if we go back towards Pink and Anas here, see they're holding out. And like I mentioned, they're going to launch pad very slowly towards the front side. Launch pad yet again. And now they're going to evaluate. Is this a good time to take high gun? And it doesn't look like it because there's a lot of people pretty much set up yet. So they can wait until that second moving. And then if second moving pulls north, for example, then they're going to have a lot of materials because they're able to save those materials with those launch pads. So I'm hoping to see a north zone pull because it's going to be a launch pad towards height in the second moving zone here, Shayo.
Absolutely. De facto first place right now will be Art Skill and T-Chips up inside the box. They're desperate to find any damage. 79 below. They might be in first. They might have 93 points, but that 95 below threshold is the number that matters, and they changed it up. Rewrite their destinies. 360 above, or 63 above, excuse me. They're still trying to find some type of damage. Might get close to 360 with the way this damage is going right now. They dodged the first few strikes of Surge as well as Stompy finds a few more in the feed. Chulex down. Mustache taken out by Endless and Squeeze. They're side by side, but it's Stompy going all the way up towards the skies. Nylu has to be forced to drop down. 536 damage above for this team. They Spider-Man their way all the way forward as well. They stop another height take too. The denial is insane.
And you got to be careful. If you're fighting on the backside of zone, there's going to be another team towards the front side that's trying to take it away from you. Juice smartly here, Spider-Man towards the front side, but they get chopped down. Oh, they do reconnect though, but is the damage done? I don't know. They only have 4 more builds in total, and here comes Pink. Like I mentioned, if you're fighting on the backside of zone, you're going to be using a lot of materials, and Pink's been able to save it this entire game here, Shayo. 26 builds left, and they have it into this 8th moving zone.
Oh, they take out Stompy, and Pink is still active and alive. The aim electric, the bullet's magnetic, and they're not missing. This is just insane. Anas is there too at the very front of it, applying the pressure that Pink is making as well. He's making sure not a single edit can be made upwards. Mappy's kind of trapped. Seti's right below him too, so they're being forced into a pinch as well. T-Chips though, still in first, taking down Link. Finally, Endelix takes him down, so that might be the first place.
And I think we're gonna get 2 in a row here from Pink. Old builds, right? So they have, even though they're all gonna go through Shayo.
Absolutely. Seti, though, this is going to be another clutch situation. We saw Janus do it before, but he's out of mats and unfortunately goes down towards the front side. It'll be Endless next squeeze that picked that one up. 26th place for them overall, but they're looking really good. And Austin Pink, again, it's like just walking a dog or something. It's just so simple for them. Every time, business as usual when it's the desert. These guys make sure everyone else is just low and dry. Pink, once again, another launch forward, and he secures another spot of the high ground.
And it is a game of numbers, right? Even the small launch pad there, you know, it's only 2 to 3 blocks, but every single build counts here. When you go into that final moving zone, that one build might just save them as you have 7 duels left alive, Shayo.
Absolutely. Flixie now, he's going to be in trouble. You're talking about every single build. They only have about 6 left. Pick up a few more on the left side. Armored Wall buys them a little bit of time, but it's time that's going to be translated into money, into points right now. The longer you stay alive, the more placement you're going to get, and they're trying to milk every single second so far. Up top is where the roof comes crashing down, and Flixie is the one to pick up all the mats left around. This is going to be huge for them. Dodging even more sprays. This man has like a shield bubble around him. There's no way he's taking no damage from all this pressure. Right now he's looking down, lands another big shot. Surge doesn't matter right now. It's only about getting these eliminations and staying alive ahead. Inside this feed, a big one from the heavy shotgun slug. It comes straight in. No, it's a pump, but it doesn't even matter. The damage is true. Nailu still alive right now. The Siptos also going to give you picks, and they're going all the way up for high ground. 3 builds left. It's not going to be enough. He doesn't have the mat to actually go all the way up towards the top, but he has a big shot on the left side. That's an interruption. Flixie's insane. Pink is down. The Emperor's usurped. The med mist might be enough to keep him alive inside the car. The tech is nuts, but no. Driving is not going to be allowed today. Anas saves it for now. A 1v1, no materials, a pump shot. It's do or get done, and he does it. Anas, back to back. The Pharaohs rise. That is insane.
Oh my goodness, Anas, they're absolutely electric. Kept this cool. I think that player bounced on top of a tire stack or something, because Anas kind of lost him for a second there, but he did finally find that tracking, and this is just a fortunate zone there for them again, right? Everyone on low gun, every material, nobody has bats, and Anas here keeping us cool, you know, playing it safely, even tanking a little bit of storm, is able to find the Siptos there for free. And wow, I think that's 2 in a row there for Pink and Anas. I mean, the setup, it was all there to be seen from the start, right? They got those early eliminations in Tova Canyon, they got the vault, they had multiple chug splashes, and that was just free. GG's.
Absolutely. That armored floor, ramp, wall, whatever, like it was absolutely crucial. I think it was one more shot and would have dwindled away. So that was literally a game of inches. I know that the desk will talk for miles. Zeke, Levin, Reese, I mean, what was that?
Ridiculous.
Shayo Wager, what is going on in this qualifier number 2, guys? Semifinals is next week. Finals is the week after that. We got to calm down, okay? My little heart can only take so much of this action, but Shayo Wager was extremely accurate in that call, right? That armored ramp there being the difference. At that point, that player has to say, this is not worth wasting ammunition on. I'm just going to take a chance. I'm going to go in this direction and hope this guy's not up top waiting for me to just get domed. But for Pink and Anas, once again, another victory royale. The back-to-back, Levin, it's going down.
Yeah, and we saw it coming from a mile away. Reese and I sitting there in the call just knowing, hey, look, after their off-spawn battles and whatnot, it was clear they were going to have a brilliant game. Of course, they had all the loot you could possibly ask for. The setup for height, Reese, was very, very patient, and it's actually something that I think people underrate, right? A lot of the time, you see a bunch of teams fighting for height, but they're real good high ground teams. They'll stay elevated, they'll wait for all the action to happen, and they'll just sneak on right up and win games, and this is what these guys do so well.
Yeah, the back-to-back doesn't happen just randomly. Like, these guys are experienced. They've been practicing left, right, and center, and they are veterans of the game at this point. Anas has been around for so long. So has Pink, getting a lot more of the limelight this season, absolutely. It showed in the final moments, right, where Anas had to clutch up the victory royale, and we kind of saw a bit of a difference between Flixie on low ground. Here, exactly, jumping straight into the car. He's a less experienced player. He's not made a single FNCS final. This is a big, big moment for him, whereas Anas, calm, cool, collected, veteran of the game, connects the shots that matters, and picks up the back-to-back.
Yeah, Shai was talking about the Flixie's tech there. I think you're giving him a bit too much credit. I think there was a bit of panic there from him. But look, they were very impressive in that endgame. Him and Nailu popped off, and that's going to really help them moving forward.
And that's what they're trying to do, right? They're just trying to make it in that top 8. They don't have to be first. They just have to meet that top 8 requirement to go straight through the finals. Let's take a look at our standings right now. It does not look like I read slowly. Okay, so right now, second place, 102 points. That's how slow I read, guys. But I started from the bottom to the top. Take a look. That is a massive game for them, right? Now they're able to jump up, especially halfway through the competition 11. They're able to say, look, as long as we can just hold on. A second place, they very well can make top 8. If everything goes horribly wrong, they may be able to hold on.
Yeah, look, I'm actually not even that surprised seeing Nailu and Flixie here, just because this season so far in Cash Cups, when I've been watching and analysing some of the bigger teams, I always see their names popping about in lower layers, you know, really getting those pop-offs. They are very, very exciting players to watch, and so this could be the start of a really big year for them.
Yeah, their best placement so far is 12th in one of those finals, which was really, really good. Like I mentioned, they haven't made an FNCS finals yet, so with a couple of games remaining, 3 left to go, I'm hoping they don't crack under the pressure.
Just gotta hold on, boys. Just hold on. We got this, but for now, we're getting ready. We're jumping back on the battle bus. Boom, Shy Wager, take it away.
Man, when it comes to these games right now, I think Zeke put it the best in game number 2's post. It's like a semifinals light, even a finals light after the action we're seeing with this one, Boop. I mean, I'm not sure where it goes from here. If we're at the desert again, I might just lose my mind.
Yeah, I think it's very zone dependent, but it's also because the sort of teams that we have in this lobby. I don't think I see many high teams in this lobby, Shabia. A lot of the high teams that we know are all qualified last time. So, you know, the Videos and Visas, all these guys are already qualified towards the grand finals guaranteed. So Pink and Anas, they're making use of a very good situation for them. And, you know, they're being the only high team here right now. You know, it's doing well for them.
Yeah, it's like a personality switch as well, because you called it in the first game. Anas, Pink, kind of a little bit of a passive duo overall. They don't like to take that claim, but when it comes to endgame, everyone has to be adaptable enough to do just that, right? And if you're looking for another banger, we're on the precipice of one right now. Game number 4 is about to get started.
Yep, and, you know, we saw a lot of aggression coming out early on, but... We saw a lot of aggression coming out early on into that last game, and I'm expecting exactly the same this time, and the point discrepancies are going to be even higher, you know? There's going to be a lot of those people, you know, towards the bottom 30 to 40 on the leaderboard. They're trying to play super, super aggressive now. It is not the time to be eliminated by Surge anymore. Now is the time to pick it up and make things happen, Shayo.
Absolutely, and sometimes you might not see a team pick it up. You might not know exactly how they're in a certain space. I feel like that is the wave for Artskill and T-Chips. Once again, just like the Cash Cups we saw in the previous season, they're just there somehow. Top 6, top 5 right now, and second overall in a spot that seems even weird too. Yeah, there's a big vault to be able to, you know, be used, but past that, like, these outpost spots, Boop, somehow so effective week after week.
Yeah, everyone seems to love them, but I didn't notice in the feed, I saw Anas get an early elimination. So maybe that was because of the bus path, or maybe someone is trying to make something happen here. I would love to see that later on, just a little bit of replay maybe, as we have this early game fight. Looks like, oh no, never mind, they're just going back in. They got a taste of blood the last game, and they want more, Shayo.
Absolutely. This is going to be super early, though. That's the part I'm kind of worried about. And you mentioned it, yeah. Early elim, it's good, but then, okay, I like this. Getting out of dodge and making sure you're not going to be inside the preliminary equation. They want to be like option B of the overall test, right? They want to be the second question, the multiple choice after the fact, and this is the way they got that first elim. Pink being bullied and really being the bait to the final second. That man's HP is low.
Get yourself a teammate like Anash. No, my man slid down the mountain, risked his ankles to come help his boy out, and it worked out for them. That's going to be early storm surge for them as well. And it seems like someone's trying to shake it up just a little bit. It looks like Pink's loop path is getting disrupted just a little bit, but Pink, you know, has that perfect drop. Pink is one of those players that is prepared some of the motion, has played so much practice. He's done so much VOD viewing, has a coach, has everything in his arsenal to do well, and he's showing that off today. As Benji and Savage, this time, we mentioned having a consistent off-spawn strategy. This time, they're shaking it up. They're pushing towards Kinzo and Disiptos, and Disiptos gets taken out early on now.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is one of the essences of surprise, right? If you keep things completely consistent on your drop, it makes it that much easier to have a little bit of a jump scare on the team that's next to you. So right there, Savage and Benji not engaging whatsoever. Disiptos might have been a little bit overall confused, like lackadaisical as he's moving around, kind of free-formed, and Savage capitalizes on that, picks it up. Should be a close range fight they were having. Looks like they took control of a spot they don't usually go to in Tilted, and because of that, Savage has a free healer.
And you know, this is a little bit scary though, because we're only in game number 4, right? We have 2 more games after the show, so you really don't want to be messing with your neighbors, especially when you're in a position to qualify, right? Benji and Savage, 94 points right now. You know, they are in that 6th position. So if Kinzo and Disiptos, you know, if they have a bad game or they have another bad game after this one, they might say, you know what, let's push Benji and Savage. It doesn't matter anymore to us because they griefed us in game number 4. But looking at the leaderboard so far, Kinzo and Disiptos are actually tied on points with Benji and Savage on 91. To you, and maybe that gives you just that little inch in order to qualify to top 8, Chio.
Absolutely. There's a lot of time though inside Tilted to be able to stay around there, right? And you're not going to be able to guard the card as much when it comes to Benji and Savage. You mentioned, you know, maybe one of the mistakes they're making is they're taking too long in Tilted. They're not getting enough surge. That might have been an answer to their surge overall, but they need to move now. So as a result, yes, you are making a difference in that 91-point tie, but Kinzel's going to get Disiptos right back up. They'll still be in the game, and they'll be looking for revenge.
Yeah, for sure. And it might make a little bit of a difference as we move over towards Anlex, also now trying to play aggressive on Fast Roki and Kylie. You know, those guys, I expect them to be in chonkers the majority of this final. You know, they've been talking about it a lot on Twitter. Chonkers, it's our chonkers. But when it comes to the real finals and there's actual things on the line, looks like they've given it up. You know, there's a lot of talk coming out. You know, I love it. You know, I love the drama on Twitter as well. You know, you're trying to claim those spots, but, you know, sometimes you just got to pick actions to your words, and they're not doing that. But they do have 41 points right now, so it's not too bad, right? I guess they're sort of appreciating the fact that they can do better from a different spot. Don't have to make ego for those spawn fights. But, you know, Anlex and X3 is here. They're trying to play aggressive on them. And Kylie now in a difficult spot. 0 builds in the box. Tries to whip out the pistol. Only has 14 ammo in that Stinger SMG. As Anlex is trying to get a sneaky revive here on X3. Kylie's also doing it. They try to trade, but Anlex has the shield advantage. And that's more than enough here against Fast Roki to eliminate him. And Anlex there on his 40 points. 2 eliminations now. And Surge settled. And has a pretty good zone to rotate to as well.
Absolutely. And one thing I liked a lot just in that fight specifically, Analex baiting out the chug splash noise, making it feel like they're going to be trading reses, right? That was genius, and then immediately pushing. Right now, too, in terms of contestation, only one contested team has kind of won so far when we're looking at how things are rolling, too, right, when it comes to the victory royale. So the thing right now is if you have a free, clear type of mind overall when you're looking at how the games are being played, and you have that set loop path that you're pushing so much, Boop, right, in terms of being able to get that practice and be able to get that familiarity, and you're having a much easier time getting to that victory royale.
Yeah, for sure. As we hop on board now with Kinzo, he's trying to get his boy back up in Disiptos. Looks like Savage and Benji, they're hovering the area. Actually, I think Savage might be camping that card. It was over near that garage side of the buildings. But, you know, Kinzo, the time is ticking. He still has a lot of time, I think. It should be fine. But unfortunately for him, the first zone does center near Tilted. So there's actually 0 reason for Savage and Benji to do anything but wait here. They can farm the materials out. They have a bit of surge. And because they have priority on this rotate against the other Tilted team, because usually, right, you have that team in North Tilted, they're going to be blocking out your rotates. In this situation, they're the team that's deciding the rotates. And they have all the time in the world here to make something happen. But I don't think Disiptos should shoot at this player at all because he wants to sneak in carefully to try to get that car and then dip right back out. And it looks like the timing went here. Kinzo, oh, I'm nervous here, Shayo. This is, oh, he gets it. There you go. Thank God he gets out of there as we go through to another fight here inside of Daily Bugle. Stompy and Ju. Pretty good spot in this final, getting W keyed by a player with an appropriate name, W key Able. I mean, for sure, he is able to W key, and Ju in the similar passive and run away now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough overall. Stompy, this team entirely just seems like they've had a little bit of trouble, a misstep even that cost them the entire game. It's not even, you know, a completely wrong calculation or a big mistake, just a slight error sends them spiraling into a place they don't really want to be in. And at the Bugle, we saw this in qual number 1. It is tough to get out of the spot with a card and get back under your game in a good pace, right? It gets really, really difficult. Right now, Anas and Pink as well, denying a little bit of the damage on what I was assume would be Kriachi and Stormy Right, bullying them a little bit. Curious to see exactly what it is. It is Kriachi Stormy Right. They're going right beside Sleepy Sound and or Logjam Lumberyard, excuse me. This should be the one spot that they could back up to if they're leaving Covert Cavern, but the issue is it's going to be a team that's not contested, that's going to be able to scout out the grounds and possibly push even for that surge. And Austin Pink in trouble in first place as well.
And this is what I mentioned, right? 4th game now, Kriachi and Storm Right in 18th place with 45 points. So they're trying to be proactive instead of reactive. You know, they were eliminated in 13th place in game number 1, 22nd in game number 2, and 25th in game number 3. So that half and half surge really affecting them in this final. And now they're trying to play super aggressive against Pink and Anas, and you know, trying to make an opportunity happen because they need elimination sort of to catch up. They had a decent finals last week, and hopefully for my prediction they have a better one this time. But so far it's not too good.
Not too good for the moment, but they'll be able to get some damage and get out. That was the goal. Sometimes you don't even commit to the entire fight. For Gore, it might be a little bit different. Slove right behind him. Gonna be having a little bit of a pinch over here, but he can't go over to the left side. The Heartbreak actually misses and hits the enemy instead of the build. That's huge. And another just walking forward pump. It's actually Chico going down. Trulex, that was the first team I was talking about in game 1 that keeps getting keyed. It seems like they're our bullied duo of the day. No matter where they're trying to reposition to, there's a team that finds them and then just dives in the box.
Yeah, unfortunately for Chulix and Chico, again, getting eliminated by another team in the mid-game aggression. You know, the games where they aren't getting pushed out, they've placed top 10 in every single game so far, but, you know, they got to survive. You got to be careful because there's aggressive teams in this lobby, and if you can't handle the heat, you got to get out of the kitchen.
You got to get somewhere. I don't know where they're
away from the kitchen, maybe.
Away from other teams, but there's just teams playing. That's so unfortunate for Trulex, too. The Harpoon kind of just solidifies everything. The fact that Gore just like has the focus to just keep going, even though he's getting so much damage dealt to him. The trust in his teammate Slove to get the trade. I mean, ultimately, that trade didn't need to. He had the damage himself. It's still kind of nuts. Kinzel to Ziptos back on their feet. The Ziptos on low HP, and this time they're getting chased by Fortexia. This is going to be a tough ride away.
This is the team, you know, these guys, they have struggled with Surge the entire game. Kinzo and Deceptor's only going to have those 150 wood in total as Kinzo has to pad away. 21 builds for him. Deceptor gets left in the dust and he's going to be the bait. He says, he says, Kinzo, run away, my friend, because I will be your sacrifice. And Kinzo will have to do it yet again because Deceptor goes down, unfortunately. And it is another waiting game for Kinzo to help his boy out.
I might not even need stats for this next claim, but I think Deceptos is the player in the lobby that's given away the most Elam points to other teams so far. Right? That's 4 in total. This man has gone down twice, and Vortexia and Castry, they're still searching for Kinzel.
Yeah, I mean, you want to maximize, right? Like, if you can solve your surge right now, then do it. There's no reason for you to, you know, play passively, you know, let this guy run away from you. But, you know, Vortexia has a little bit of a sixth sense. Maybe he feels like Kinzo's nearby in this bush, but, no, he doesn't seem to know it yet. And we're running out of places here for Kinzo to reboot. You know, you can only reboot someone twice, I feel like. And there you go, the replay of it happening. Vortexia with that Stinger SMG to jump in through. Crawl from the outside trying to trade tags as well, and that is Deceptos. I feel bad for him, man. He has not had a fun game this time, and I feel like it's gonna happen again because Kinzo, being the good and valiant teammate that he is gonna try to reboot him yet again, and I feel like he's gonna meet the same fate.
I'm wondering what the maximum amount of points a single player has given to another team has been in the past. I think Kinzel's going for a record right now with Deceptos. It might be 6.
Might be. I think you get 8. I mean, might as well. If
that's
you get a record
4 times.
I think. That's my prediction for this game. You know, if you're gonna do anything this game, if the game's gonna be a throwaway, you know, might as well get the world record while you're at it. You know, and 103 below surge. Actually, we might not even get to that point, unfortunately. So the fun and games are over for Kinzo and Deceptos. Now comes reality as Cassie and Vortexia are gonna hold them out yet again. And you know, this outfit, is so recognizable. And you know, they know this is the solo, and they're gonna be pushing in. SMGs come through. Kinzo, can you make something happen? No, the pinch comes from both sides. And Vortexia and Castro take them both out. And that's going to be a good start for their game here. You know, the Surge is settled. They don't have to worry about it anymore. But for Hookah and Zessen here, you know, who have been playing aggressively in Kondo Canyon, their Surge is not settled as they're going to get pushed out here.
They're going to be tough. Hookah at some moments has, like, you know, really good swings in terms of getting enough damage done right in front of him. This is going to be nice control, box like a present, and Christmas is way past. Hookah's just going to be pushing forward and getting every elimination that he wants to, no matter what. Sirs is the one going knocked down and then completely eliminated. Past that, one more player just left right in front of him, and they know he has no shields. They know he's kind of healing up right now. Look at all the loot they got, too. MK7s to switch into, shield kegs, Spider-Man's web shooters as well. This is just an absolute, you know, treasure chest of an elimination.
It's good to see a little bit of diversity in the zones as well. You know, going to get a little bit of greenery, not all of that yellow sand that we're so used to. So, you know, Pink and Anas are going to have to adapt just a little bit to this different type of zone, but it's not too bad of a one, as we have Link here and Default still on this backside of Tilted. You know, kind of get held out now. Storm Surge is going to activate. 81 people left alive, so it's one of the biggest surges we've had so far. And Clement and Floki here on the left side of your screen are on top of multiple players. They're trying to scout out, trying to find something, as Link now goes back down Surge. And they do have a lot of shield though, so there's no reason for them to panic yet. But, you know, they're going back up and down, Shayo.
Yeah, and right now there's going to be a team up top that is going completely down. I just saw Anas go down in the feed. Pink did get a little bit of a trade. That's Volko fighting Anas. I'm pretty sure that's one of the teams that lands inside covert a little bit and goes back and forth with Joe and Vino. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but it's all up to Pink now. White damage up on top of Volko, and he's going to go straight for that big finish, 360 Surge. So they've been fighting for a long time, a little while. And this time they're gonna have to go straight into the splashes as well. Yeah, Pink is going all in for this one. Will he drop two more as well? No, Volko will actually drop down towards the ground. Pink is still looking forward and has a little bit of control, but his time edit on one side. Matt's picked up on the other. He's maxed out on all fronts, and he has chances to go for a reboot on this north side. There shouldn't be too many people left here at all, but Pink is having so much trouble finding this elimination.
And I like the aggression here from Pink, right? He realizes there's very limited opportunities to reboot in this situation. So he needs to get this elimination as quickly as he can, because zone is ticking down. There's 4 more seconds to zone. And the longer that you wait on this fight, the longer it is going to be for you to reboot your teammates. And you need to be eliminating this play as quickly as possible here, because you want to put yourself in a decent spot to set up. And now comes some good mechanics out of Pink. This player gets beat from the other side, but Pink doesn't realize this. He's in the box. And he's down now to 30 white health. And fortunately for him, that play does get eliminated. Let's get Siphon, and Pink is gone. Game number 4 is not for Pink and Anas, and I feel like this is a bit of a snowball from that early game, right? They got landed on by another team, and then got pushed up by Kyoshi and Stormrat yet again. And you know, the sort of mojo and the flow here is getting disrupted. And now with a different type of zone, this is something, you know, you're gonna get these sort of curveballs thrown at you in Fortnite, and sometimes you're able to adapt, and sometimes it's just gonna be tough.
Is very tough, but I still feel like they have a leg in the race, right? If their kind of history is we either go out without any placement points or we win a game, all they have to do is just stay alive towards an end game, have a chance at being top 3, because when they do stay alive, literally, they win back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, might as well win 2 games and then be eliminated early on into the next game. That's fine, you know. As long as you have the consistency, you know, so far, they've been eliminated in 22nd, won 2 games in a row. So this time, being eliminated in mid-game. So surely they win the last 2 games of this final as well, Shayo.
Yeah, and how does that change in terms of this game for every team? They had a launch pad before they went down, so that's a lot less rotation available for a bunch of people that are going to be on the map. A lot of people like to just reuse these pads, and Pink and Anas are always in one of the best spots to use them for everyone to recycle as well. So that won't be a part of the business so far. And you're going to need launch pads for this next zone, because if you look at it, I don't see an inch of land inside where we're going so far. It'll be the absolute center point of the map, it seems like, right above Tilted, and there's just water. That's all I can see.
I don't know if you're the analyst, Shayo, or if I am, but that brings up such a great point. You just sparked my memory here. And there's a strategy that a lot of these players can do. If you remember the outfits of the Covert team, right? You know, Ven and Joe, 2 guaranteed launch pads. You have to remember that. If you know what outfit they wear every single game, if you box up right next to them, guess what you get? 2 launch pads for free every single time. So this is sort of a strategy I've seen a lot of people do in solos as well. If you know a team or a player is near a, you know, an airdrop, for example, or a supply drop, then you know this player is going to have a guaranteed launch pad, and you're going to have to play right next to them. So that's a very high-level strategy that can come out of some of these players. I don't know how easy it is to remember the outfit of another player, though, because obviously, you know, they're going to be changing this. They're going to be changing those every single game. But, you know, it's worthwhile to think about.
Absolutely, and you'll know they'll be on one of the sides of the zone as well, right?
Exactly,
like,
north side.
Look towards the north, look towards the west side, even if it is a zone that's kind of like this. The one thing I like about these zones too, I'm a very kind of lore-based individual. I like to make up weird storylines in my head when I'm watching. You end up getting like continents of players and boxes that kind of build their own histories. I feel like everyone coming in from the east side will be fighting a lot more, right? Because the zone is slightly a little bit more northern, so they'll have a lot less match there, a lot more chances for a big box dive on the right big bases that are being built. Everywhere along the left, though, that'll be people who are very well off, haven't had to move too much so far. They'll be looking a little bit better on damage. They'll have a controlled game, so you'll see that poverty line kind of split way down right the middle diagonally. Everyone on the top left looking good. The bottom right kind of hungry to see what happens next. And no one is going to be near the center at all. I feel like they might be forced to be in a little bit of a second, but it'll be cool to see if the rich will have to move first on the top left side, or the people who are struggling a little bit more. Hookah and Zestin right now, who are low on mats, an inventory slot out, no rotation really. The bottom right will have to keep.
All I know is I do not want to be that team on the bottom left of the map, right? If that zone does not pull to you, all the eyes are going to be on top of your face. And when you launch pad
as well.
Oh, they do actually get a package here. So maybe that, I mean, that is sort of a bittersweet thing, right? Because even if you launch pad in the situation, everyone's going to see that poor little team on the edge of the map ready to launch pad, and that is going to be 3 eliminations for this lobby. 1 more seconds to go, and I'm waiting for it. Oh my goodness, they get it. Somehow they've read the zone. Their brain is bigger than mine, so it doesn't matter. They've got that supply drop. They got zone as well, so those guys are vibing, Shia.
Yeah, more importantly for the rest of the lobby too, the poor will have to move once again. The rich part of the lobby ends up getting 2 care packages as well, 2 airdrops to launch pads. I mean, that's just insane. They get even richer. Now everyone else on the right side, this is where you see surge issues. Vico right now, he's going to be in so much trouble moving forward. Alex is also going through it right above him. Melody in front. Everyone's just kind of boxed out, having trouble. I'm not even sure if anyone survives this rotation.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of inexperience coming out. I believe Vico isn't a player that makes many finals lobbies, right? He's a very competent solo player. Struggled, I think, last week, this week, qualifying to the finals. You know, a little bit of inexperience coming out. He's doing pretty well, 53 points in total. But, you know, sometimes the surge just doesn't go for you, and that's depending on the zone. But, you know, what is going to be good this game is for Benji and Savage, right? This is a very good zone for them. They've struggled with having to move across the map the entire time. And now zone is basically in the backyard, and they have a pretty good spot to set up here, as, you know, we have multiple teams here with no launch pads. And this is basically going to be a reverse of what I expected for those teams on the island, as there's going to be multiple eyes on you. And Vico, unfortunately, you don't ever want to shoot the players right in front of you, because, you know, those guys are going to turn back. You're going to make so much noise, and everyone's going to realize that you're there. But he was put into such a difficult position, needed that surge, so had no choice but to shoot, and he gets eliminated there in 26th place. But it's eerily quiet, Shayo. I feel like, oh, never mind, there's an SMG.
Always rely on it to have a little bit of a rattle. But yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. What people don't want to do right now is make anyone mad. There is no insurance in this zone whatsoever. You end up making a mistake and you slow this squish down, you're in the waiting for the next zone to come in, and yeah, the cruise is over. You kind of go straight over towards land, get overboard, get right back into the brass tacks of Fortnite. They're going to be going right off the water. This is good for a majority of teams. The issue is, I'm looking at a little bit of a ramp. And, like, you know, if you're doing an incline walk for 40 minutes, your legs get tired. Right now, it's not muscles that are going to be strained for a lot of teams. It'll be their mats. Moving upwards, especially from a low ground position, you're going to have the sickest possible builds. And at the same time, everyone on the right side, there's not too many launch pads here either. It's going to be tough for them to move. Some people already low on HP. Even setting in chat picks, uncharacteristically, when inventory stock completely down, surge down as well. They have to move. They're swimming. They're desperate. This just looks like trouble.
I'm very curious to see who takes over high ground in this first movement, right? We have Pink and Anas dominating in that second to third moving zone now, but they're not in this game anymore. So I'm very curious to see who wants to go up for it. And I have a feeling it might be Benji material count compared to the lobby. So hopefully we'll see some action on height here.
It's going to be action on height, survival on low, though. Somehow Hookah and Zestin still alive. The last duo in, and the first one out. Talk about produce rules. That's exactly what they're doing right now. They're still moving in 116 below. Hookah hanging on by a thread. They have to find one shot in a box somewhere. Anything, a possibility, a crevice, a crack. No, nothing. They have one wall claim. A little bit of damage traded, but it's only on towards them. Hookah now down to 1 HP. Zesson almost taken out on the left side. They're deleted, and we go back over to Savage. No Benji, just one man with a mission. Absolutely catastrophic in terms of a position to try to take back first, but there's a chance there. 4 elims to see what they can do. On the other side, Vino and Joe, you're asking Boop who has height. It's the Covert duo themselves, and they're not hiding anymore. They're ready to play.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, right? These guys had the most launch pads in the lobby. They have those Spider-Man gauntlets as well. They are the most aggressive duo in the lobby, and with that high fire rate golden SMG there, the second highest can be a little bit scared. But Savage here, this is the guy that you want in your corner to be clutching up, right? One of the best solo players in the game right now, has so much experience, has the biggest brain in solos, and with a Spider-Man in his hand, I think there's a good chance he clutches up here, and those crucial...
Whoa! What?
Whoa, no!
Wait a minute!
What have I just said?
The fix! The pad?
Oh, he's back.
They're like Spider-Man himself, and finds a pad. Only Savage gets into situations like that and stays alive.
How does this keep happening, Shayo? How does it keep happening every single time I say something nice, they just get destroyed by something random? But Ju here, surely it doesn't happen to Ju, right? 3 eliminations here, 7 builds. The zone is going to push slightly back, so it's going to be a little bit careful. But Savage here finds another shot on another player. He's going to play this very slowly. He's not going to jump in aggressively. He's going to take and buy this time as he finds Slow there. That's probably only going to give him Cypher materials in this position, but that's good enough. He does have those armored walls still to set himself up, though. There you go. 22 builds in total, but he's going to get held out, and he's stuck below this mountain now. It's due. It's all about survival now against Stormrat and Kiriachi. Those armored walls coming greatly into effect. Those going to be able to hold.
What? He just keeps getting moved up. This is crazy. Website shouldn't even exist. But Savage makes it happen. Now his mats are out. Needs to find a shot in the pick, but it's not going to be possible. That's a different side of the zone. He's getting an absolute haircut from high ground, though. That's gone. And now it's up to T-Chips and his teammate Artskill to kind of take that lead. Hard find up top. And this time him and Nova have finally seen an end game. They don't want to go down now. They're trying to rain a few shots up top. Keep that pressure up. It's not going to be enough. So far, they go for a few more beams, but it's blocked by T-Chip down below. There's still one more team that's in the mix. Ju finally down, and now it's a 2v2.
You gotta be careful though, there's that massive log in the middle of this end game, and you cannot build around it, so they maneuver themselves around to the left side, and Heartskill there, 11 eliminations in total. Artskill and T-Chips on 5 eliminations as well, but the mats are running out very slowly, and still 90 seconds left on the zone, and I don't think there's much you can do in this position here. It's all about biding your time. You gotta be very passive, you gotta be a little bit careful, but I feel like they could spray their SMGs just a little bit more, Shayo.
Absolutely, the final drop down's in. Breakdown, they keep it simple, they keep it smooth. That's what we like to see, and that's what we expect from that duo on height. Crazy though, that so many different teams hogged up all those eliminations, and Savage with a clutch all the way in the top 10. That you don't see every day.
Yeah, these zones are so brutal. We saw this in the other game as well. When it pulls over water, everyone's material counts are just low, low, low. And you know, the team that does the most eliminations in total, those are the ones that are going to have the most height going into that final moving zone. And they're going to have more of those times, more of those positions in order to set themselves up. And that's a free win there for Hardfind. And with that big elimination win, that's going to boost them all the way up on the leaderboard here.
Absolutely. I want to see exactly what that leaderboard looks like, but also what Zeke, Levin, and Reese think about that game.
Shayo, I don't know what's happening over here, okay? I keep assuming I think I know what's going to happen, and I keep assuming we've met the toppest high here of the competition in Qualifier 2, and then some other duo rises to the occasion and says, hold on, Zeke, you should be paying attention to us too. But it was 2 separate teams, Artskill and his duo mate coming in 2nd place, who now seem to have overtaken that #1 spot. And then on the other side, Hardfind and Nova, 13 eliminations in game number 4.
Yeah, that's a big surprise. Shout out to my guy, Coach Harry. I know he's been doing some work with Hardfind. Clearly, it's paying off. They were able to get the dub here. But look, Boop, spot on there, right? This zone was eventually going to come. You know, it always comes at some point, but it's so shambles for a lot of the teams. It's very, very hard to deal with. But props to Artskill doing because they've been very, very consistent over the course of the games.
Yeah, they've been absolutely popping off. Like game after game after game, getting deep into end game, seconds, first, whatever it is, they are up deep in there. But we got to give props to Mr. Savage. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He was down in 5th, and that solo clutch was 30 points by himself, by the way. 30 points and managed to fly them up, which was absolutely huge. It was unfortunate to see Benji go down to the back of the zone. A rough first moving indeed, but this is the kind of thing Mr. Savage is absolutely known for. I said at the top of the show that Mr. Savage is in his perfect form. He's in his final form, may I say, at this particular moment. Every single time you watch him, it is a highlight reel. And that gameplay that we just saw from him, the bouncing off of the webs, the utilization of the Spider-Man's web shooters to recover from being deep out inside the zone on multiple occasions, absolutely big-brained, and it's just what Mr. Savage is all about.
Yeah, man, the ability to just sort of stagger your rotations with the Spider-Man, sit behind, look for everyone to get ahead of you, and then you just sort of web your way in. And then, of course, when you're hitting shots like that onto Slove, goodbye, good night. Yeah, Savage is on one today. And look, people call him one of the greatest solo players ever. And it's not an exaggeration. It on right. He is just on point. Mr. Savage, man, what a player. Can't wait to see where they are now in the standings after that clutch.
Well, let's take a look together. Let's see how things are going. Remember, that was game number 4. We still have 2 games left to go, and we want to try and make it in that top 8 if we look to auto-qualify going to finals 2 weeks from today. Right now, Kinzel Deceptos in 9th place, knocking on